is just in front of Marko Yevremovich, the left back, who scored a sensational free kick in the 905 derby at the weekend. Borges from Jose Masunda, now returned by Rama. Kept himself onside, Borges did, his cross into the box. On it first from a blue shirt, Romatario, a great slide, and Caligari does in fact foul Sadek.
Trouble
Indeed.
The Forge has been so good off set pieces. 3 big goals last week over the weekend on set pieces against Inter Toronto. Big opportunity here for Forge. Yevremovich just dropped the hammer. But they also have people on the back post ready to get involved. Nimic, Batiste. And it all comes down to the service, which relies on the left foot of Tristan Borges a lot of the time. Depending on what they decide to go with, whether they fire one at frame and test Carducci early on, or they try and get one across into a dangerous area. And I don't even see on it. It looks like Yevremovich and Sadek.
Yevremovich is going to try to do it again. Carducci certainly saw the highlights from Inter Toronto and was ready to contest the shot attempts. Sadek has it poked between his feet. Yevremovich launches it over the line. Forge will have a throw. Tristan Borges, who is typically, as John mentions, the free kick taker for Forge, he's very good at it. He said to Mackenzie Barwell after the match, look, we've all known that Yevremovich has that in his locker. I guess the rest of you just found out today.
Good chance for him there. With the confidence that he has after his goal on the weekend, might as well give it a go. Get it on frame. Test Carducci, a big chance.
Pressure from Sadek, the seal. Payton follows up. Finlander takes care of it. It will be a throw-in from right beside the corner flag.
A little frustration there from Brian Reeves taking a look at the free kick. Good spin and whip on it, up and over the wall. Carducci does the job of getting the cross and parrying it away.
Long toss from Yevremovich. Kareem So sends that straight up in the air. Romatario didn't quite have his angle right. Yevremovich from Batiste deflects off a Wanderer, still with right in play. Carducci was down lunging to make the save. Now Sadek. First shot attempt from open play. It's high over the crossbar, and Mr. Carducci preaching calm, but they're being tested early, Halifax.
Good look there for Sadek early on. Good composure for Brian Wright. Ball's bouncing around. It ends up getting back to him. He spots Sadek and lays it off nicely. Sadek just a little ahead of himself and leans back. Puts it over the bar, but good opportunity early on the front foot. Forge to start this game.
17 years old from Longueuil, Quebec. He is a Canadian Youth International. It's not a debut for Forge by any stretch, but his limits have been very limited. And it is a full debut, if you will, getting the start for the first time under Bobby Smirniotis.
Forge always does a good job, and kudos to Bobby Smirniotis with sprinkling in some young players and getting them valuable minutes and testing them to see if they either sink or swim. We've seen this before. Sunda, Zane Bruno, young players who've come in and had a chance because Bobby Smirniotis has given them one and they've taken advantage.
Sartini telling the media, look, we need to use the previous games as learning experiences for this one, but unfortunately, so far we're also used to losing against Forge, and we want to change that, even if it's going to be extremely hard, as the standings are saying right now. Sartini is depleted in terms of available players. Only traveling 5 outfield substitutes. Telfer, Rampersad, Cachuele, all away on international duty. And Marcus Godinho is out suspended today on yellow card accumulation. Isaiah Johnston from nearby Milton, Ontario. He has been certainly the shiny toy for the Wanderers offense, still leading the CPL on goals, sharing that mantle. 4 scored. I think there's 5 or 6 now across the CPL at that total.
Well, this is where Forge has been so good. They get themselves back in defensive shape and make it so difficult for teams to play through them. In fact, they can't play through them, especially at home.
jumps in between the center backs. So into the attacking half for Isaiah Johnston. Jefferson Alphonse. They return the favor to the captain. Sartini highlighting, look, we need him to play as the left back tonight. We know where the most dangerous players in orange are. They're on the right side of the field, and he's certainly talking about Masunda and Borges. Sartini going so far as to say if Borges or Masunda were to invert, they might just send Alphonse over to the right side and swap him with Troisi. That's how much Sartini rates his 1v1 defending ability.
Young group of defenders tonight for Halifax. They're going to be put to the test. With the change, even with the changes that Bobby Spirinos has made to the front three, Brian Wright coming back in, Sadek getting a look tonight. Still poses a threat. It's going to put this back group of four for Halifax to the test.
So Nana Mpoma on Sunday make his season debut for Forge, the skilled Ghanaian winger. Spirinos is reporting that Oketiku is ready to go. It's just now all of a sudden a selection headache as he returns from a niggle. Crimson would be good to go if needed. Borges one pass away from Masunda. They're denied entry into the 18-yard box. Carducci from So. Back along the end line. Caligari. One touch out to the wing. This is Troisi, a 19-year-old teenager from Port Moody, British Columbia. So, 25 years old, he is the oldest player in the back line and the second oldest on the pitch from Fleury-Mont. This is Johnston. Couldn't defend any tighter than Dynamic had just done. Referee said there was no foul in that. Keep playing.
Lots of possession early on for Halifax. Moving the ball around, no little penetration. That's all because Forge does a really good job of keeping their lines compact, being difficult to break down.
Just the one final third entry so far for the visitors. It's deflected out into the Forge bench off of Sadek. Vremovich hands on the back. Ciccarelli down, he had fallen. Tavio, he's back in the team. Got rightfully a little animated after scoring a match winner 2 games ago for the Wanderers. Fortunately for him, he picked up 2 yellow cards in stoppage time. The second was for excessive celebration. Taking his shirt off to celebrate the match winner and got the goal, 3 points and a red card as a result. 19-year-old from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Linder trying to keep the ball away from Sadek. The Calgarian, though, didn't quite have his ankle sorted. It's Halifax's throw. Vremovich has a spring for a spine, a long toss all the way to the 6-yard box. Pretty good trade from a Forge perspective. Harmless enough throw-in, turns into a corner. And Justin Borges jogs over.
And another set piece for Forge as they look to bring guys up from the back and get organized. See what type of service we get. Sadek's on the ball right now. Right footer, in swinger. They've done that a lot with Borges on the far side and left hand side. Great service. All comes down to the service.
Matisse and Nimick, pretty good finishers. Sadek, too low, too close to the near post. It's handled by Lorenzo Caligari. Yefremovich for right, powerful header, but Payton was flat-footed and watches that sail by. Well, John, we know that the top two in the CPL, they're starting to run away with things as we near this World Cup break. Cavalry 8 points clear of Victor Toronto heading into the match week. Atletico Ottawa had a huge win over Supra to take them all the way up to third. The top two are kind of doing their own thing right now, and then it's 3 through 7 where it is incredibly tight. The Wanderers start the match in 6th, but if they find a way to win here for the first time, Cavalry takes care of Inter Toronto. Halifax could head into the World Cup break as high as 3rd. It is tight, and there is still plenty to play for.
You're right, Adam. The middle of the table is going to get messy. I think the front runners, Forge and Cavalry, are just going to keep running away. Both teams look to be in excellent form. Both managers have plenty of players at their disposal. They're able to shift lineups and still continue to get results.
Canadian Premier League playoff format reverting this season to a more, I'm using air quotes, standard 1v4, 2v3. They will play home and away, 2 legs, aggregate score. Winner after 180 minutes would advance to the Canadian Premier League final. But seeding, of course, is important. The winner of the CPL Shield gets a berth in the 2027 CONCACAF Champions Cup, has the best odds of hosting the Canadian Premier League final. For all the history that this league has had, we are still waiting for someone to do the double in a normal 28-match regular season by winning the regular season and the playoffs. Carducci. Antoine Baptiste, the 31-year-old Frenchman. Halifax forced the turnover. Some heady play by Sven Zittman. Caligari away just in time for Lucas Olguin. Dutch midfielder, easy for me to say. Finds Troisi. Yefremovich just trying to keep that in a wide area to his own pass and vacates the defensive third, at least temporarily. Wire crossing between Zittman and Aria. Speedy Jose Masunda. Yefremovich nearly had that pass intercepted by the Spaniard Aria. Anthony Romatario. Aggressive and strong pass into Masunda. Did well to make it stick, but what he could not do, Jose Masunda, was avoid their large slide tackle that came right through the ball at his feet. Caligari, Aria takes it and dribbles into space. Aria's shot. Back goes Ciccarelli and Johnston to profess there should have been a foul after the strike. Aria couldn't pick his corner, ended up being an easy stop for Berteau. And then quickly, Forge flipped the field. Jose Masuna with just Soda beat, deflected shot will end up as a corner. Still, Olguin and the Wanderers arguing that there should have been a foul on the other side of the field. What do you see, John Conway?
A good bit of action here as Aria steps up and drives to goal, and it is late and comes in. Hard tackle after the play by Batiste. Bertone, simple save, and then we go on the other end. Masuna gets a good look, good defensive play to get in front and block. Fortunately for Halifax, it goes up and over the bar. There was a moment there, Caligari was on the ball, paused, he didn't have anything in front of him, then he tried to slip a pass into Aria. Fortunately, he was able to get on the end of it and make something out of nothing.
Borges paces himself back, in swinging ball, often to the front post. He was trying to go deep into the memory bank and relive the 2023 CPL final with Marco Carducci. I tell you, John, it's been fun to grow up with this league and be in this chair for some big moments, but I think of some announcers who have been tied to much older leagues and how they're able to recall, 1987, this happened in the final. I struggle with 3, 4, and 5 the last few. What year was the Olympico?
Well, we're never going to forget last year's final.
No, you and I won't. My therapist called it a trauma bond. John,
there we
I'm not
go.
sure if you're familiar with the concept. Broken up by the left foot of Kareem So. Forearm into the numbers of Borges. He felt it and went somersaulting.
Surprised that wasn't a foul. So right in the back of Borges. But we play on.
Referee Scott Bowman from Milton, Ontario. He has set the threshold for a foul fairly high. He's letting quite a bit go in these first 20 minutes.
Come.
Isaiah Johnston. No way forwards. Olguin. 20-year-old with Argentine and Cuban heritage from Toronto.
A highlight of the player who isn't here, who's injured, needs to get back in the lineup, and Thomas Mayer Gager. But a player on the field, Isaiah Johnson, needs to be the leader of this group. Needs to get in between lines, receive balls, be able to face forward and create. He's had a good start to the season, 4 goals. Needs to continue to be the main threat for this Halifax team at the time, where they need to get some results, need to get stuff moving in the right direction. A lot of it falls on that man's shoulders.
This is the CPL on TSN, presented by One Soccer. We're through 21 minutes in Hamilton. A rare Wednesday night doubleheader, and as of 4 minutes from now, we will have 2 simultaneous matches taking place. If you are here looking for Inter-Toronto hosting Cavalry, that is available as a secondary channel on the One Soccer platform. Right, all the way into the box. So drives him out. So makes a nice tackle, wins what he thought was a goal kick, what I would have expected to be a goal kick. The referee, though, points to the corner.
So gets away with one before with Borges with the arm in the back, and then in this case tries to body up Brian Wright. Brian Wright does a good job of fending him off and wins a corner kick. See if we better get a better serve here from Sadek. First one in, Caligari did a good job. You see him right on the near post in that 6-yard space. He did a real good job of defending and heading that clear.
Already Forge's third along the ground and then swept in by Evremovich. Arcing, lofted, and sweeping service that ends up nowhere near frame.
A team that's been so good on set pieces have wasted a few here. Borges, poor service from the left-hand side. Evremovich there. Sadek on his first ball just doesn't clear the first defenders for Halifax on the near post. It's a vital element for Forge's game. They've capitalized and got goals off of it. They need to just have better service here to capitalize in this game.
Jefferson Alphonse from Anjou, Greater Montreal area. Diamond in the rough signing out of Ligue Quebec. Last few seasons now. Masunda. Rama in the half space goes off the leg of Olguin. Scampers over to prevent a fourth corner and then clears it down the middle of Ria in hot pursuit. Yevremovich wins the race to the football. Spun back by Kitchener's Ben Payton. Borges. He's had the rather large shoes to fill of Kyle Becker, whose story has been well documented in his battle with testicular cancer. Borges, who calls Kyle a mentor, has needed to step up not just in midfield but as the leader of this team. It's something that Smyrniotis has praised a lot of those guys about, these mid to late 20s now players being a bit more vocal, keeping everyone's standards up. We know Kyle Becker knows how to set high standards.
Speaking of the midfield for Forge, and a player that we haven't highlighted that needs highlighting, that quietly does a lot of the dirty work for this team and does a good job of linking plays and breaking up plays, is that player right there,
yeah.
Anthony Romatario.
He might be in my team of the season if I was to pick it right now.
Excellent for Forge this year. Quietly goes about his business, breaks up plays. Just a really good addition to this Forge team.
Another incredibly talented midfielder, Lorenzo Caligari. Swapping passes with Aria. Troisi. So from Linder, 26th minute in Hamilton. On the turn, Aria. Yevremovich gets back goal side and shields the speedy Spaniard off the ball.
Decent turn there from Maria, but Yevremovich does a good job of recovering to get himself in position. Good deal. A little bit of a shirt pull, but at the end of the day, does enough to force Maria to touch it out of bounds.
Dan Nimick had been the Forge representative at the podium when the club met with the media ahead of this match. As we've got World Cup fever, I said, how does it feel to sort of live and work in an area of timeouts? His ball up ahead for Borges, could be turning into something. He's caught by Jefferson Alphonse. That will bring an ear-to-ear grin to his coach's face. That's why Jeff, as they call him, is at left back today for moments just like that.
That's perfect though. On a dime. Great touch from Borges and then tremendous recovery from Alphonse to break that up. Promising opportunity for Forge.
Was it Nimick's name off your lips when you guys were discussing potential MVP candidates?
He's up there.
Sean Rea for Super having a fantastic start to the season.
And then I backtracked and said, you know what? I'm going to give some goalkeepers some love. Bertone has been excellent. He's made big saves when they needed him to make. He controls his penalty area. He collects crosses. I love when he comes out late in games and just kills games off when people try to float balls into the box. It just shows extreme confidence to me. Very good with his feet. He's not afraid to collect the ball.
Some work to do for Nimick here as Tavio Ciccarelli lead Halifax forwards. One Winnipegger dribbles back into midfield. He saw the pass to Johnston, but Romatario slammed that door shut. The foul's for a handball on Ciccarelli, a little salt in the wound.
Well, that's the guy, Romatario, in that midfield, just doing the dirty work again. Good tackle. Just to finish my thought on Bertone, just so good with his feet as well. He's able to collect the ball, and he's able to find his distribution, create opportunities going the other way. Another bit of that core group up the spine of this Forge team that makes it so difficult to play against, and it's the reason why they're at the top of the table.
Going through the memory bank of World Cups gone past, Dan told me his earliest, most significant childhood World Cup memory, the Shabala Screamer, the South African World Cup. So that and the Vuvuzelas I'll always remember. It is that time. Hard to believe the big show gets underway tomorrow. Look, depending on the curve that you're grading this match on in the Wanderers, 30 minutes keeping Forge off the board is certainly a feather in their cap. After that 4-goal outburst we saw in the first 9:05 derby of the season with York on Sunday. Masunda couldn't move that around. Jefferson Alphonse. Nimick. Masunda. Johnston defends him tight, takes his angle away. Well done from the Wanderer skipper. Tracy. Linder away, but no further than Yevremovich. Romatario was late with his lunge. Got a lot of the man and maybe not even any of the football.
Danny Sartini sporting a sweatshirt with a field on it. Anytime he's got a break, he can come over and bring his team and do some diagramming on his chest. Doesn't need the magnets, magnetic board to do that. Savvy coach, you know.
I mean, Daryl Fordyce just has a laser pointer. Huddle up, guys. Adam Jenkins, John Conway, Mackenzie Barwell, your One Soccer broadcast team from Hamilton Stadium. Lots of red and white in the house tonight. The CPL has been putting on red and white matches the past few weeks. Asked Bobby Smyrniotis about Dimitri Berthaud and how in the loop he was with the Congolese as they made their final World Cup roster. 15 times he has played for them, and of course it's any player's dream to represent your country at the biggest tournament. Look, he was in constant communication. He's obviously disappointed to have not been named, certainly with how strong he's been to start the year. Hasn't let that rejection deflate him in the slightest. We saw another A++ save out of Bertil last week. Lorenzo Caligari. A bit more time than he thought, but his preference and the urgency he felt was to switch the fields. Jefferson Alphonse on the ground for Isaiah Johnston. Putting the ball on a string as he worked on Nimick. It did come off him last. A bit of misfortune at the end of an otherwise promising build.
Johnson trying to work Nimick 1v1. Deep in the offensive end. Nimick does a really good job keeping his feet alive and adjusting to the movements of Johnson.
Couple of things to keep logged in the back of your mind as we watch tonight how the match builds, how the match progresses. Short turnaround for both of these teams in action at the weekend, and it's 37 degrees with the humidity. And as John rightfully always reminds us, it's even hotter on the artificial turf. Baptiste Borges looks in towards the middle, diving so, fouled by Antoine Baptiste, the center back. Tested his striking skills. Right-footed effort over the crossbar, though.
He's getting the action, but if you look at the top of the box, there's a lot of orange jerseys. 3 orange jerseys, the top of the box, wide open. Any one of them could have probably gotten the end of it. He takes it, hammers it over the bar, unfortunately.
Troy Siat midway draws a foul off Payton. Just the 6th foul of the match. No cautions through 34 and now 35 minutes. Zittman made a mistake but recovered very well. Fons is caught between Masunda and Rama. It took a deflection off the outside of his leg last. Romatario. Jefferson Alphonse comes chasing out, and he returns the favor as that glances off Rama before leaving the fields. One last reminder, Inter Toronto and Cavalry have kicked off from York Lions Stadium in North York, just down the highway. If you are looking for that match, it is available on an alternate channel on onesoccer.ca or the OneSoccer app. Keep you updated with any pertinent scoring updates as they come in. And if Sunday was any indication, it could be a bit of a goal fest out at York University. Sunda. Romatario. Payton now. Now Payton shoots. Pretty good effort that. Picked that out of his feet, and it didn't miss the top of the goal by much. Carducci was up, but his gloves goes to the base of the crossbar as that zips by.
Payton coming inside on the dribble. Gets a little bit of free space and decides to hammer one. Tests Carducci as Carducci looks to be scrambling across. Not sure if he didn't catch it in time to see it come off the foot. He reacts to the ball over the bar.
Payton, one of 4 Forge players to play all 800 and now 47 minutes available to this Forge group. Anthony Romatario has played all but 14. And there's been some consistency in Smyrniotis' lineup. Back-to-back weekends, he put the same 11 out there after the win at home to Cavalry. And the two changes today, a little bit of freshness, bringing in Brian Wright for Mo Babuli and Sedek for Maxime Filion. Speaking of Sedek, outside of his right foot, takes that down. Square ball wanted right, his fellow substitute in the 11 today.
Big opportunity there, but it all starts from Romatario making a huge defensive play and then winning the ball back and then driving forward. Sedek, huge opportunity, just takes a little bit too long to make a decision on what he wants to do. But it all starts with this player here, Romatario. Good win and then a great ball. Needs to hit it there. Just takes too long. The opportunity was there after the first touch to get that shot off.
Top two players in the Canadian Premier League in terms of possession, one on the pitch right now in field. That's one of them. Lorenzo Caligari with 65. Romatario has 158. Caligari only lost 3 challenges all season long. The defend off right is swinging a miss with a football and clobbers the Wanderer on the way by.
Well, trying to play off a hold-up play, but ball just kind of slips away from Brian Wright. Masunda just comes in late, commits the foul. We'd love to see Brian Wright just stick that, hold it, let Masunda come a little bit farther before laying it off to him.
This is a strong play from Brian Wright. Payton between the lines once again. Into the box, Payton. Off to a Romatario. Trying to get around Johnston. He saw Rama streaking down the right wing. This is Lucas Olguin, head of steam. Some of the Forge players have their arms outstretched or hands to heads. Everyone's saying, that looks shoulder to shoulder to me, Mr. Referee.
Looks shoulder to shoulder to me as well, Adam. Rama coming in. Let's take a good close look at it here. I guess because he exaggerates sort of the shoulder, but he plows right into him and it looks fairly clean.
Ball being 3 or 4 yards in front of him as well probably didn't help matters, at least in his case for innocence. And 4.5 minutes before first half stoppage time. Is expecting us to have a hydration break tonight in both halves. Our Canadian women's national team had 2 last night in their international friendly, and it was only 18 degrees. It is 20 degrees hotter today. This first half has flown right by. Considering the record, considering the table, Halifax, I think, will be content with where they're at. They have certainly been doing more defending than attacking in these first 41 minutes. Romatario. Alphonse. Zitman battling with Borges. Good balance, good strength from Tristan Borges. Referee spotting a little after action from the Dutch midfielder. Ibrahimovic to the inside. Sedek surrounded by Blue Wanderers shirts. He's down holding his knee, didn't hear the whistle, and suddenly felt a lot better. It's a good thing he's back to his feet because he's found the ball after the steal. Borges gets himself set. Blocked by Zitman, and then Payton trying again. Lofted well over the crossbar.
Well, Sedek fools everybody. He's down on the ground and then pops back up, and ball gets back to him. Ends up to be a good opportunity for that player there, Tristan Borges. top of the 18. He tries to shift it back to his favored left foot. That allows Halifax to get close and be able to defend.
With a left leg complaint, the physio is out to investigate. Halifax in the first half this season conceded 6 goals. Only Atletico Ottawa have taken more. So that they've been able to come to the toughest place to play, certainly the toughest place to score, and held the clean sheet to this point is kudos to them, despite being fairly depleted.
Oh, yeah, remember what you saw in the replay. Makes a play on the sideline, and as he's jogging into the middle of the field, it almost looks like he pulls something or cramps up in the area high on his calf and behind the knee. It's not a good sign because there was no contact. As he's reaching sort of in that upper calf.
Looks like a bit of a shin split to me, which isn't fun either. He'll have to leave the field of play for at least a minute. That takes us into the final minutes of this first half. Jefferson Alphonse, only player in the CPL to win 20 tackles this season. He's added another. That's at least 21, if not 22, from previous defensive efforts in this period. Aria. Romatario closed the wickets. Wasn't to be nutmegged. Strength from Brian Wright. Buys a little time as well for Aguilar Sedek. Sedek spins inside. Peyton from Romatario. Antoine Baptiste.
They do themselves a favor by keeping possession here, moving the ball around, and allowing some more time off the clock to be able to get the references back in the field.
Not much in the way of stoppage time. There is just going to be the 1 minute. Brought to you by the fine folks at Spurnbrae Farms. It's the right idea from Rezard Ramos. Some clever play on the wing, but Alphonse once again defends him well. Johnston was hard into the tackle with the Romatario. And now he's working on Rezard Rama. Wanderers captain doing a shift right now, trying to take this 0-0 scoreline into the halftime break. Rama goes down a little awkwardly. He was pinched between Zitman and Johnston. Means the last play of the first half will be a free kick for Forge, deep in the attacking third.
Big opportunity for Forge to go to halftime with the lead with this free kick as Johnson goes in on Rama for the foul. Halifax needs to be organized. Carducci is going to need to get his players in the positions that he wants to deal with this free kick.
It's about 9 yards closer to half than the corner flag and about 3 steps onto the field.
Look at the numbers at the near post for Forge. Everybody's stacked. You can assume Forge is going to whip this right in on top of the near post and create havoc.
Just as John predicts, Carducci on his line pushes it away. Yefremovic follows up with plenty of players screening Carducci. He is 2 for 2 in the final moments of the first half. Let's take a look at it, John.
Good ball in and dangerous play. Carducci in a good spot to punch it away. With all the numbers in front of him, he's able to keep an eye on it. And that one had seeing eyes do through the gap, and he's able to secure it and end the first half, keeping the score at 0-0.
And with that, let's head to the break. A scoreless draw at Hamilton Stadium. When we return, it'll be Andy, Jimmy, and Gareth in the studio.
In Canada, our people.
When. It's a matter of when, not if, with this Forge team scoring, because they've absolutely dominated the stats. 8 shots to 1, 4 shots inside the box to 0 for Halifax, 15 touches inside the box to 0 for Halifax, 67 passes in the final third to Halifax's 27, 9 crosses, Adam, for Forge. How many for Halifax?
I'm going to guess 2.
0.
0.
So, all that's trending in one direction. And it's just a matter of when it's going to happen for Forge, not if.
Romatario left his left leg straightened in that tackle. Caught on the follow-through was Jefferson Alphonse after that first tug of the shirt. There it is.
Just did the splits there, Romatario. Dropped the needle.
Yellow card away from having an even longer World Cup break. He would be suspended on accumulation if he was booked tonight.
Good run here. Might be their first cross in the match.
They'll have 4 blue shirts in the box as Ciccarelli reached in behind himself with his right foot, flicked it high, and out for a goal kick.
Good effort there on the right-hand side, getting aggressive and getting up top. Getting a cross in finally. Comes in the 47th minute.
Rama slams on the brakes. He is the right back in Forge's 4-3-3 tonight. He and Bourgeois now the fullbacks. Baptiste and Nimick. Berteau in goal. Romatario the 6, Tristan Borges the 10, Ben Payton the 8. As soon as the right winger, Sedex the left, and Ryan Wright places the number 9. The Wanderers playing in a 4-3-2-1. Alfonso, Linder, and Troisi from left to right. Zitman, Olguin, Caligari in central midfield. Johnston, Ciccarelli, and Aria in attack. Carducci's in goal. And a flick from Jose Masunda. Borges goes to the other side of Alphonse to collect. Whirling around, trying to find any modicum of daylight, but that was smothering defending from Jefferson Alphonse. Very well done in the Wanderers left back.
Tremendous job from Alphonse. He just continues to play well on this left-hand side into the second half. He's got his hands full with Borges and Masunda over there, and he's done well.
I'd asked Vanni Sartini if he could design the perfect performance, what would the scoreline be to beat a team like Forge? And he said 2-0. I said, that seems a little greedy, don't you think? And he said, maybe, but even if we were to be leading by 1, Forge the type of team that you are expecting them to score at some point. He knows what it would take to get a result, and it would not be easy. Rama down Broadway, the ball was pinballing around. He'd ultimately take the shot, but it skipped up on his foot, and he sent that almost outside the stadium.
Wasn't ever pinballing around. Rama driving forward, the ball's bouncing, catches off of him, hits off a defender again, falls back nicely for him. He just can't get over top of it and get it on Carducci's goal. But we'll continue to see Rama getting the action on this right-hand side and be aggressive, trying to get involved, trying to link up with Masunda.
First on the long ball, Johnston in pursuit. This is Zitman. His take from Ciccarelli. Turned inside for Isaiah Johnston. He slipped as he went down. Johnston twirling his finger at the bench. That's the FVS review signal. Check it, says Isaiah Johnston to Vanni Sartini and the Wanderers staff.
He may have an argument here as Nimick comes in.
And the referee in a neutral phase of play gets the notification from the fourth official that he was handed a challenge card. He's come over to the monitor to review. Vanni Sartini challenging. What a huge difference a Wanderers lead through a potential penalty could be.
Big moment here as you watch Dan Nimick's right arm grabbing Isaiah Johnston inside the box. We'll see, get a clear look at here. He's behind. We'll have to check whether Johnston is onside as well. But clearly Nimick pulls at the right arm of Johnston and throws him off, and it's inside the box.
Well, I will say that we've seen over the past couple of months, really, that the thresholds for overturning a call on the field has been sky high. There's your answer. It's Daryl Fortes, a former CPL player with Valor, also suited up for FC Edmonton back in the day. Dan Nimick can wipe a bead of sweat off his brow. How is the question that Isaiah Johnston is asking the referee.
It's incredible.
I agree with Vanny here. It's clear to me that Johnston is in, and Nimick reaches and pulls his right arm and shoulder back, causing Johnston to not be able to get through and get a shot off.
And Isaiah Johnston, obviously with some frustration, he goes right back at Nimick, and for the tackle he puts on the English-Canadian center back, he was booked immediately.
Oh, this is just boiling over from not getting the call. He's hounding Nimick. You see the frustration there.
A yellow card has been assessed to Halifax's number 8, Isaiah Johnston.
First caution of the match, and still some frustration on the Wanderers bench. And that everything to do with the build-up to that tackle from Nimick, John, was a recipe for a penalty. The defender was beat clean. At that point, you basically can't touch the attacker, otherwise you are tempting the footballing gods. Not like it was a 50-50 shoulder-to-shoulder, both guys going for position.
No,
Johnston did everything right. He had him, left for dead, really. Ontario is able to keep Zitman from controlling the ball as Olguin slides it to Carducci. We're in the 54th minute at Hamilton Stadium. Intensity certainly ratcheting up a notch or two here in Hamilton. Wright plays it into midfield behind all of his teammates. Sadek mishits the pass. Caligari didn't get the ball out of his feet in time. Rama from Aromatario.
Crazy a little bit at him. And the fact that I've seen some things that I would assume would be a penalty. At least I thought they were. And then they're not.
I'm hoping to get the opportunity to check in with the referees, or at least the referee supervisors over the break, and just see what they've made of the FVS, because at the beginning it felt like almost every challenge was being won.
Yes.
And there was almost this like invisible point in the schedule where that has changed and nothing is being overturned anymore.
I just don't know how much clearer. Like, what picture am I missing?
Masunda settles it down outside the box, drives towards the middle. Perfect pass for Payton, and a nice block from Kareem So. Carducci on his goal line, pushes the ball forward, and then snuffs out any last lingering chance.
Good bit of football there as Romatario finds Masunda wide, and Masunda does the rest. Does a great job 1v1 to find Payton in the middle of the box, just enough of a gap for him to get the shot off.
It's actually off the heels of Troisi. Now Masuna dipping, ball spilled and cleaned up by Wright. Marco puts a hopeful arm in the air, looks towards the assistant referee whose flanks stayed down. Very similar to how Inter Toronto conceded to Cavalry half an hour ago. Forge on the board through their number 9 on rebound patrol. And as the Wanderers on their bench still lick their wounds from a penalty they thought should have been given, they now find themselves trailing the league leaders.
Oh, again, Masunda, great opportunity from distance. Marco Carducci has to do better with this. I know it's got some knuckle on it, but he just leaves up a juicy rebound. And Brian Wright doing what forwards should do, follow up everything. Has an easy goal because of it. This ball had some dip and some knuckle, but a goalkeeper of Carducci's caliber should be able to deal with it and get it out of danger. But Brian Wright's rewarded for his effort, following things up. Makes it easy and puts Forge up 1-0. What a cool game this is. Adam Halifax down the other end. Thought they should have been awarded a penalty. Weren't. The script is flipped. As Forge comes down the other way and just tilts the field in their direction. Takes the lead.
It's twice now that Brian Wright has scored against the Halifax Wanderers. The first angle we saw in the replay with the freeze frame shows that the daylight offside trial is the reason that Brian Wright stays on. That's what the fourth official is confirming right now as he scrolls through the monitor. All goals automatically reviewed, and based on that, looks pretty cut and dry to me that under the offside rule of the Canadian Premier League, that's a good goal.
I have to agree with you. Brian Wright does a good job of just holding up enough to stay onside. It looked like his trailing leg was in line with the Halifax defenders.
It's a longer review than I certainly would have expected, unless there was maybe some kind of a foul in the build-up that I've missed. It's Mathieu Suarez. He's our fourth official tonight, 39 years old, from Hull, Quebec. We're waiting for the line, I think, to be drawn. Trail foot in red is in behind the plant foot of the Halifax center back. The goal stands 57th minute. It's the fourth of the season for Brian Wright. Just heard from the public address announcer, Wright was booked for covering his face with his shirt. Excessive celebration. So a goal and a caution. That's the Tavio Ciccarelli special from a couple of weekends ago.
Halifax is going to look to try and get back in this game. They might have to make some subs here. They got some offensive threats on the bench by Akinwale, Mahambula. Guys that come in and maybe stretch the back line of Forge and get in behind. But for now, Forge is going to have to defend the set piece as Bertone organizes his guys. Gives Halifax an opportunity to set something up here. It's farther out than you would like. It's going to come down to having a really good ball whipped in that gap between the goalkeeper and the defenders for Forge.
It's Area to take. Lands at the penalty spot. Zitman runs onto the loose ball. He got exactly the amount of power on that strike that he was looking for. He just couldn't clear the bodies in the box.
Did he ever? Batiste, I think, takes the brunt of this one.
Alphonse. Rhea still out on this left side. We're in the 62nd minute. Dan Emick swats Rhea away like a bothersome mosquito. Wright, who became just the 5th player in Canadian Premier League history to score 40 goals. He would have tied Tobias Warszewski in the all-time lead, if not for Toby's first half goal against Inter Toronto.
The Golden Boot race is getting kind of interesting too, isn't it?
We finally have someone at 5, that's Warszewski, and then let's see how well our noggins can work together. Now Wright, Johnston, Skublak, Altabelli.
Yes.
I think that's the 4. Supporters are having a good time tonight. The last they will see of their club for some time, with the World Cup break looming for the Canadian Premier League. Forge's next match after today will be Canada Day when they host Vancouver. Full 20 days off, almost 3 weeks.
It's going to be interesting the adjustment the teams make, how they adapt to this big break, what they do. If they bring in new players, if they train, what do they work on in this moment, as we see a yellow card here for Alphonse. How they assess the first sort of quarter of the season and what changes they make to their teams. And also the other thing is that teams that are hot, Oregon, Cavalry, do they cool off a bit? And does this gap hurt them coming back from, and allow teams to kind of sneak some points on them and make it a little bit more interesting? Because right now, it's a 2-horse race. So we see a lot of subs coming in here for Forge. That's the luxury that Bobby Spirinos has, the depth. He's able to do this and change it up. Just brings in a whole new team in the attack. And if you're a defender for Halifax, you're going home now. And Homa? Filion? I'm going to have to defend these guys for another 25 minutes fresh. You know they're just going to keep running at you, making it difficult.
Okay, so it will be Nana Mpoma replacing Jose Masunda, Maxime Filion for Tristan Borges, Noah Jensen for Aguilas Sadek, and on the Wanderers side of things, Jason Bahambula is in for Miguel Aria. All subs happening in the 65th minute.
Obviously, Heroes putting in some offensive threats, along with Manny Sartini getting Bahambula into this match. Look to use his pace, get in behind.
Isaiah Johnston, first contact on the ball, swept under the foot of Maxime Bourgeois. Romatario was tagged by Lorenzo Caligari. And then a miscommunication between Caligari and Johnston ends any hope of a counter-attacking moment. Bourgeois just overruns it. Johnston gonna thread the needle for Jason Bahambula. Bobby Smyrniotis talking about Maxime Bourgeois. He's drafted 2 Maximes out of U Sports. They've both been great. They're both on the field. So look, when we got him, he was more of a central midfielder. We challenged him to start playing on the wing, and after a few training sessions, he says, "Coach, I really like this. I think I can grow into this role." And growth has certainly been what we've seen from Bourgeois, from the very ore of Sherbrooke. He makes a nice move to get it behind Caligari. Carry him off of Finlander and out for a corner kick. 67th minute in Hamilton. Brian Wright's goal in the 57th minute. The difference in the match so far.
Expect lots of numbers around Marco Carducci. You see a lot of orange jerseys there on the 6-yard line.
Noah Jensen whips it in. Nimick with a golden opportunity at the back post. Can't believe it.
Really good ball into the near post space where all the numbers are. You see the bodies, and Jensen just whips it into the area, and it ends up getting loose and getting free all the way to the back stick. Nimick can't guide it into the back of the net. Forge have been so good on set pieces. Can't keep giving them opportunities from corner kicks, from free kicks, because they will punish you.
Linder being hounded by Filion. Down is the goal scorer. And a yellow card has come out. Pardon me, not the goal scorer. That's Antoine Baptiste, who has been a goal scorer, but big number 8, not big number 9.
Ciccarelli just getting his elbow up a little high and catches Batiste.
Ciccarelli, Johnston, and Alphonse all booked for Halifax. Brian Wright booked for Forge. Physio just making sure all the chiclets are in place and the jaw is where it's supposed to be.
It's a hot night down there in Hamilton, and Vanny's got a sweatshirt on and jeans, and there's not a bead of sweat on that man's brow.
Italians are different, man. You should know that better than anybody.
That's true.
I could be wearing an Australian rules football kit and I'd still be covered in it. Look like I just stepped out of the shower. Rama. Nice move from O'Geen. Drifts to the inside. Zidman ran out of time. Borges had his shirt tugged. The arm came up from O'Geen, who spotted the foul. The referee did not. Lateral pass to Maureen Stowe. That's a bit extra time. Floats that over Bourgeois. Francesco Troisi. Bourgeois was trying to prevent a corner kick as it came off him from about a yard away. He goes over to say my bad to Dimitri Berteau and now assumes his defensive free kick position. This is one of the many moments. Halifax miss Thomas Meyer-Giguère, but an opportunity to equalize in the 72nd minute after both Alphonse and Nimick are warned. Outswinging ball into the 6th. Berteau able to punch it wide, and Bourgeois allows his team a little extra time to get reset. Razor Rama, meanwhile, catapulted into the attacking half. He's all by his lonesome. From the defensive third to the attacking third by the corner flag. He's won a throw. Well done, Mr. Rama.
Really good by Rama. He knew he was outnumbered there. He kept control of the ball. Took it to a place where he could force a tackle from Halifax. Ball goes out of bounds, and they still keep possession here. Savvy veteran play.
To the referee's book, that is Anthony Aromatario, and an accumulation suspension looms. He will have to watch from the suites when Forge returns. So Anthony's got about a month off now, John.
Well, this one's a little bit late as he comes in and catches Olguin, as you mentioned. Makes the break a little bit longer. We'll see how Thomas Miriones does when he resumes play after the break and fill that void. He's got plenty of options. But as we mentioned before, Romatario has just quietly been one of the best players on this team.
Halifax down to 17 minutes in stoppage time. Trying to find an equalizer. And that's a perfect ball for Johnston. Team's leading goal scorer would expect to score from there on his left foot. He was even surprised. Made a good run to get into that shooting lane. He just couldn't get anything behind it.
Oh, good play from Halifax. And a big opportunity from Johnston. It all comes from a great run from Bahem Bullen. And now we got Forge on the other end of the field.
Match starting to open up. Filio makes a nice move. Spots him. Poma. It'll be good for the Ticats, but it doesn't do much for Forge.
Let's take a look at the run. Great run from Bahem Bullen behind line and puts the ball to the penalty spot. Johnson gets there, just can't wrap his foot around it and test Portone. And then Fillion, with some individual work, and has enough time to pick his head up to find Ampoma. Again, right at the penalty spot. Another case where you can't get your foot around it, they drive it on frame, and Ampoma puts it over the bar. Two chances there, back to back. Great opportunities from Allner near the penalty spot.
Johnson still working through an unfortunate memory. A lot of pressure to lead this team. He's talented. He's got more heart than just about anyone else in the Canadian Premier League, but he needs some help. He can't do it all by himself. Alphonse found his way in behind Razor Rama, switches directions, slips and shoots. The header from Zitman right to Aromatario and sends most of the way out of the half. This is a nice little spell from Halifax as we move into the final 15 minutes.
See Alphonse showing his versatility in the offensive end there. He's done a really good job defensively tonight dealing with the right-hand side of Forge and Sunda Borges now, and Poma's in there. Now he's getting the attack as we take a look at the All-State save of the match from Marco Carducci. Good free kick there from Yevremovich, who's been known, who has been known to light it up from a free kick recently. But Carducci was well aware and is able to get across and make the save, his All-State save of the match.
Expertly done, John Company. Just 3.5 minutes into the game, Aromatario with that free kick. So Victor Akinwale, he takes over for Sven Zitman, the second substitution for Halifax. Just have the one window remaining and only 3 outfield players on the bench. It's a Bahambula. Nice run and a nice pass to create Halifax's most recent scoring chance. Looks like a substitution before the throw-in was taken. Forge's final, it appears to be.
Forge has seen substitution in the 77th minute. Leaving the game is number 19, Tristan Borges. Entering the game, number 10, Kyle Becker.
Always a massive ovation for those two Forge greats. This league is going to need to be very old in some time in the distant future before someone comes in with more impact than those two. Halifax will like where they're playing, and that's forward and deep in the Forge half.
This is a big moment, I think. Halifax needs to take advantage and get a goal, otherwise they'll be susceptible. On the counter, if Forge gets this back, with Halifax committing numbers forward and putting some additional offensive threats onto the field. Compact defending from Forge is going to make it tough. And if they're able to win the ball back and explode the other way, they can expose Halifax as they try to get back in this game. Halifax needed to do a good job here, moving the ball around and creating a high-quality opportunity.
Halifax would not be able to catch Supra with a draw. Forge would stay as the number one team despite having an identical record to Cavalry. In fact, should this match end 1-1 with where Cavalry currently is, Forge and the Caps would be 8-1-1, 15 goals scored, 5 goals conceded. The difference would be the head-to-head since the first tiebreaker is wins. That's a big if. One thing to create and work around the fringes, it's another to score. It has now been 260 minutes that Vanni Sartini and this team have played against Forge. And they'll know that lesson better than anyone. In from Troy Siakinwale's header. It's well wide. Berteau calls off Empoma. Referee points for a goal kick.
Forge's been defending here for a few minutes. Berteau does a good job of just settling it down, taking as much time as he can.
Touch. Flicked on the touchline. Jensen into midfield for Kyle Becker. 81st minute from Hamilton Stadium. Becker on the other side of the pass. Lifts it up on the line. Cross-rated Carducci. Smacked away, pardon me, beside his near post. Mimic from Baptiste. And Poma. Curtis Ontario's Noah Jensen. And Poma was slow to react and fouls Bahambula. The assistant referee actually raised the flag. It's Camille Raymond on the near side. I don't think she was incorrect.
No, I agree. And Poma with two hands into the back of Bahambula.
Caligari's searching ball. Berteau was at the top of his box with his tiptoes on the line and had to scamper back. It's a bit chaotic in the middle third right now. Akinwale with a fistful of Rama's shirt. The foul goes against the Wanderers.
Rama, again, good job. Veteran defender sees it. Akinwale wants to get going on his horse. Touch gets a little loose, and he puts his body in between Akinwale and the ball and forces Akinwale to wrap him up, commit the foul.
The last substitution window for Vanni Sartini here in the 83rd minute. He'll make a double. Johan Bryan for Francesco Troisi. And it's Harvey Hughes who steps onto the pitch for the first time in Wanderers blue. He's got that right arm cast that he missed some time with that injury to start the season. He's an English-born defender from Lyndhurst in Hampshire. Played his youth football with Portsmouth before going to the Atlantic College Soccer Factory, that is Cape Breton University in the Capers. Spent 2025 with Calgary Foothills. You know the connection they have to Cavalry. It's a CPL debut here for Mr. Hughes. Bahambula from Hughes. Bahambula rounds the corner to the top of the six, right at Berteau. Akinwale was near post, by was back post. Berteau was in the middle. This is to the end of the 84th minute. Time is running out for the Wanderers. Linder. So takes that from Carducci, who's out of his box ready just in case. Olguin. Bahambula gets jammed. Hughes on the loose ball. Harvey Hughes is cross towards Nimick at the near post. It will be Halifax's corner. Lorenzo Caligari saunters over.
Nimick positioned well at the near post to deal with that. He clears it away, puts his foot through it, just clears it over the end line. Would love to see that go out on the sideline for a throw-in.
Bourgeois comes in for a little U Sports on U Sports Wrestling. It's going to bounce by, lines up the volley, lean back and sends it high. But not the best delivery that we've seen today. We don't have to look very far in the past to find the Walmart delivery of the match. Jason Bahambula with the cross to the penalty spot. The substitute setting up Isaiah Johnston, a scuppered strike that would have otherwise leveled the match at a goal apiece. And Bula's impact off the bench. The Walmart delivery of the match.
You're not going to get a lot of looks at this stingy defense of Forge. You have to capitalize when you can. Great cross from Bahambula. Johnson needs to put that in the back of the net. Yellow card coming through the sidelines.
It's Vanni Sartini. Frustration boiling over. Daryl Fordyce backing him up as well.
I get it. I mean, Vanni has the right to be upset because I think in the 50th minute, Johnson gets fouled from Nimick and there's no penalty.
Well, the game changed then.
Yes.
clearance from Anthony Romatario. You could see Bahambula lurking at the top of the box.
Forge doing a lot of defending here since they've scored. Continue to have to do so on this corner kick. They've been keeping shutouts here at home. Can they continue the trend? Only a few minutes left in this game.
And a war of attrition from muggy Southern Ontario. So to say that tempers are starting to near a boiling point would be a bit of an understatement. Is there to be an equalizer? Harvey Hughes pedals back, doesn't catch it cleanly, it still skips through. Kareem Sow.
He's on the ground.
Yeah, it's Kareem Sow letting the referee know he thought he was fouled, and Halifax feeling like they are hard done by some of the decisions in this second half in particular.
Oh, he thought about it. I think he gave it back to his assistant coaches.
I think he put it in the fourth official's hand and then heard no from the bench and said, actually, Brett Shue, I'm going to keep this one, actually, just in case. Less than 2 minutes from stoppage time. Nimick center. Collected by Lorenzo Caligari. Pull up. Caligari off the backside of the Forge captain Kyle Becker. Fordyce quick with the football. They know they have to operate quick. The clock is working against these Halifax Wanderers. Trying to avoid losing for the 5th time in their first 10 games. Mounting a comeback without the likes of Ryan Telfer, Cyprian Cachuele, Andre Rampersad, Marcus Godinho, Thomas Mayer-Jaguer. It's far from a first choice 11. It is certainly not a first choice 18 because they haven't dressed 18 in each of the last 2 matches. It's a nice turn, and that should have pulled Payton into a foul, but the referee says play on. Cavalry have just increased their lead over Inter Toronto to 3-0, and that's 3 goals from an expected goal haul of 4.43. Forge and Cavalry dancing alone at the top of the table. And the middle pack has a lot of catching up to do. Looking at what's to come, and the reason for the Forge advantage. Volkswagen moment of the match. Jose Masunda shot from outside the box. Carducci on it first. Spills the rebound though to Brian Wright. Able to score goal number 4 this season. He's just one off of Warshevsky for the top spot in the scoring race here in the CPL. And that takes us into stoppage time, the first of a minimum of 6 minutes, presented by Burnbrae Farms.
Well done from Brian Wright. Following that up, I love that from your forward, especially nowadays. The ball dances a lot. Goalkeepers aren't tidy with their handling. Get some easy goals just by following things up and picking up rebounds. If goalkeepers don't make good decisions, whether they're going to catch or parry it into good areas. Fortunately for Marco Carducci, that was parried right back into a sweet spot for Brian Wright to get on. Put it back in the net as Rama rides the back of Bahambula and commits the foul.
They're not going quietly into the night, Halifax.
Bertone looking around. I think he expects someone else to be over there to help out because they made so many substitutions. Players need to know their responsibilities when they come onto the field, and if they don't, Bertone's there to instruct and put them in the right spot.
Lorenzo Caligari delivers at the keeper. It might have been off the glove, then the crossbar, as the Frenchman tried to surprise Bertone, his compatriot.
Nearly got him. Caligari going for glory, and no touch there from Bertone. Just hits the crossbar. Fortunately for Forge, Caligari going for it there.
Johnston's reaction said it all. Dan Nimick is going to take home today's Gatorade Performance of the Match. The most touches in the game, 80 of 85 passing. Touch in the opposition box, 9 passes into the final third, and his long ball distribution, and one of the calling cards of his game, 9 of 12 completed today to go along with 6 defensive contributions. Bullying his way to the border of the attacking thirds. Last off of Bourgeois. Halifax will keep the throw. Lorenzo Caligari. This is Linder. Last touch was heavy, and he ran right into Maxime Bourgeois, bouncing off the slide of Jefferson. Alphonse Hurley, another man, Filion might have been off. Carducci will tap that into his box, pick it up, and quickly roll the so. 2 minutes and 10 seconds for Halifax to find an equalizing goal. The CPL on TSN, presented by One Soccer. Great to have you along with us tonight. It is a celebration of the beautiful game in our beautiful country. We have a beautiful finish. Linder. Caligari. Lofted in, track just over Bahambula and out for a goal kick. More precious time disappears.
Caligari visibly frustrated after just hitting the bar and then playing a nice ball in there. Good job from Batiste, just getting in a position where that ball rides over the top of everybody and goes out of bounds.
Taken by Johan Bai. Returned to the wing by... Nearly shot himself in the foot, but is able to recover. It's Bai from Hughes. Harvey Hughes, the substitute on his debut. There were 3 teammates in the box. He was unable to find any of them with that cross. Jason Bahambula in the final minutes. Is there enough left in the tank? Bai. Got Palma to bite the back heel. Leaves it for Johnston. From the wing, Jason Bahambula swept in. Bourgeois' header. Taken down by Kyle Becker. He's chased. Caligari. Tough on Filion. Referee right beside him. And Caligari is absolutely fuming. Was that Halifax's last best chance? The tackle was hard, but the timing looked to be not worthy of a whistle. And ultimately, as the 3 chirps end this match, it is Forge that head into the break with another win under their belts. It has been pretty much the perfect quarter to start. 8-1-1, 15 goals scored, only 4 goals against as they hold another clean sheet. It's Forge 1, Halifax 0 at full time. Here's Andy Petrillo.
Well, it wasn't a high-scoring affair, but Forge still got the job done. A full 3 points, another victory at home. Their 7th straight over Halifax. Vanni Sartini noticeably upset, feeling his team deserved to be on the board with a penalty. We'll discuss that more on One Soccer. That's where our post-game coverage will continue, but we do say...
Anaknya yang bener duit itu, Mam, saya takut sama Pak Lek OM. Jadi sita. Sirakir ya. Katangane itu katangane soleh itu. Gere. Oh. Yo gere iki sirakir. Soleh sirakir. Lah soleh iki nang soleh. Soleh yang betama ke Jakarta. Oh. Bicara to Rene. Ingenane mriki dong bidang nika. Arep yo ngene. Mboten. Hah? Oleh soleh tok. Dadi bocah nang ndi? Nang Semarang. Lah bojone kerja apa?